It's an honor to be with all of you this afternoon, not tonight yet, to present a suite that has been my companion for the past 2 years, and more years before that, of course. But these past 2 years have been something that I felt made me really close to that key, the D minor key, and this kind of suite. So we'll definitely chat about that later. I'll start with playing just the prelude by itself. It's a good indication of what the prelude really is, just to give you an introduction about the character of the piece and about the sounds that you will hear afterwards in the dances. And then we'll have probably conversations. I welcome any question at any moment except when I'm playing. And I will afterwards continue with the allemande and the courante together. I can explain about that a little bit later as well. And then same thing, just questions, answers. And then to continue afterwards, I will start again from the sarabande all the way to the end of the gigue. So here's the prelude. I'll talk more about it afterwards.
And so I'm going to start off by saying I was really interested in how the first two notes were very detached. And that never happened again. Mm-hmm. And I was just curious about that.
Well, we have, so the first statement is, well, it's one of D minor, so really just creating that sense of depth. I mean, this is what I'm going for. And then as the music evolves, Bach takes us through different keys, different feelings, different emotions. And so, of course, even though you may see similar articulations, they're not going to be expressed the same way. And I guess if I played it again, I probably would do it a little bit differently anyway.
I was so curious. That was exactly what I was going to ask. I just thought it was a wonderful way to enter that world, sort of deliberately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, all right. So in terms of the emotion of it, there's something that I feel about this whole suite that is extremely deep, that expresses a lot of attachment about earthly, earthly attachments, like very, very dark sometimes. Mm-hmm. The way sometimes we could think when we're a little bit desperate or when we're facing something that we have to solve in our life. And so there's something to be said about these first three notes in a way, thinking about that. Another part that's interesting to me with, again, these first three notes and kind of the structure of this prelude in a way, is that it is a prelude, so it's not necessarily one of the dances of the suite, but sometimes Bach uses dances or dance structures like he does for the sixth suite, for instance, when we have clearly a jig in there. And this one sounds to me a little bit more like a sarabande, and with its statement, so it's a little bit more, there's a sense of nobility, so heightened character. So it's not like we're moping into bad feelings or anything like that. It's something more philosophical in a way.
So the question is about sort of the variation of the note lengths. That seems remarkably centered around the 16th. Mm-hmm. And so I think there's lots of room for interpretation about what you're going for, where you speed up, where you don't, because in the violin ones, it's really obvious. It's just like, 64th notes, this is going to go fast and we're going to move forward. And here you have a choice, you have a real choice of how you connect things together. And then also the other thing that I'm noticing that's very common is it's like all of a sudden we're on a tritone. All of a sudden we have, and how do you make that not become predictable? Where it's just like, deceptive cadence, right, dominant seven chord, right. So what's your thought process and how you sort of adjust the trajectory?
Right. Well, thank you. Well, I think in terms of gestures, meaning, for instance, I was talking about the courante. That's just a chord. So I group that. So I try the best I can to feel a release through it. No, not that. So the introduction, that, and then it's a pickup. So right, that sense of direction. So understanding how I want to organize these gestures as either kind of release gestures or forward movement gestures. That already helps. So that's one thing in terms of that. And then, of course, the different harmonies help. So if I want to show something that is more specific or more tender or anyway, anything that's different than the regular dialogue in the piece, then I'll find a way to make that also with time or perception of time, different colors, and so that's how I've been approaching it often. So using really, in short, using the structure of each dance as a marker. It's a good frame to start from, and then of course afterwards understanding how my gestures make sense with the sense of harmony, or how the bass line wants to move, and what are the surprises within them. I hope this was a